to exit people. Thank you, my dear friends.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your amazing, thought-provoking talk. A few days back, I was reading a magazine and I came to one statement. Do you want to spend the rest of your life selling sugar and water, or do you want to have a chance to change the world? Yes, today in this panel, we do have a man of similar lines who needs no introduction to this part of the globe. Our honorable chief guest, Mr. Suresh Tripathi, President HR SRF. Mr. Tripathi is a President Group HR SRF Limited, working as an HR professional for the last 29 years, planning public and private sector organizations in manufacturing and in IT industry. He is also experienced in the field of education as a CEO of Shri Educare Limited, a new venture of promoters of SRF Limited. A strong believer in people, he is passionate about institution building to foster and nurture feeling of community in the organization. He loves to contribute strategically in well-rounded development of people through his leadership role in bodies like R.Nayak, CII and ASSOCHAM. He has been conferred HR Leadership Award by the Asia Pacific HR Congress in September 2010 and a Pride of HR Profession Award at India Human Capital Summit in December 2011. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Tripathi.
Good afternoon, friends. I came here for the morning session, which was supposed to be an inaugural session in the morning, and starting with good afternoon. And I think that's the key paradigm change which is happening today. If you remember, those of you who would have put their hands on shooting a gun, I'm sure many of you would have seen at least how a gun is shot. And the way we were trained was that ready, aim, and then shoot. Paradigms have changed now. It's ready, shoot, and then aim. And I think today's example is one of that we were all ready, but we have shot into the second half. And I'm sure we are aiming at making sure that how the next few sessions will go. When I was invited for being chief guest here, and I looked at the theme, I was wondering that what should I do? What is the role as chief guest? Because there are sessions which are going to focus on specifics of what exactly is going to be, they'll be focused on specifics. So as chief guest, what is it that I should be saying? And I thought the best is look at the theme, which is in terms of, and pick up keywords, and just set a context so that next sessions which are there, probably they should be taking those key ideas for deliberating further, because those sessions are meant to deliberate deeply into specifics. So the two words I took was transformation, and the second was turbulence. And looking at transformation, I thought transformation can't happen unless you look at the paradigms which define the state and look at those paradigm changes which are happening. Because anything which needs to be designed or rather redesigned, because we are all working in organizations which have been working for a number of years, then we should look at that what paradigms have changed. And I'm so happy that our keynote speaker, Mr. Ramani, did touch upon some of those paradigms. And I think that's very important, because if we as HR professionals, if we understand those paradigm changes, then we can prepare ourselves better, because that is going to be the reality, or that is the reality, because it has changed. And the second is that if we understand what are the paradigms which will take us into the future, then nothing can be better than preparing ourselves for that future, because that's the paradigm that we need to address. So I thought about what different paradigms I should look at. And I thought, why not start from the globe, come down to the business environment, look at the demographics, look at the organization, and then look at people. And what are the paradigms which have changed around all these levels? I'm sure all of you are aware of the kind of changes which have happened in the global environment today. And I'm sure it's nothing which I need to repeat, that the boundaries have gone. There are no barriers, and number of changes have happened in terms of making sure that there's nothing called, and as Mr. Ramni also mentioned, that in terms of something which used to be very, very attractive as foreign is no more attractive because it's also easily available. Be it in terms of technology, be it in terms of finances, be it in terms of your any kind of support required for doing a business, everything is now available to everyone, including people. And we have seen the impact of that a lot of countries from all over the world, they're coming to India to pick up talent. So everything has changed. Be it in terms of, even in terms of homogeneity of the consumption pattern. It's not that we don't look for brands which at one point of time were available only to developed countries. We also look for Reebok, we also look for Nike. We look for Sony, we look for Philips, we look for Mercedes, we look for Porsche, we look for Ferrari, we look for BMW. All this is available in India and anywhere in the world. So the consumption pattern has also become homogeneous all across the world. You can get the same thing anywhere. If you look at the production facilities, it's seamless across different borders. And the impact is that the tsunami hits Japan and the production of impacted in India. There were floods in Bangkok, and Toyota stops its production in many countries because the parts supplied from there are no more available. So production facilities are also across the borders. So it's all everywhere. It's seamless production facility. If you look at market, I don't need to elaborate. Market is available to everyone, everywhere. And the impact of market on every other country. Greece is on the verge of bankruptcy, and our stock exchange starts shifting. EU Union talks about either re-looking at the membership, and NASDAQ sheds points, and our BSE NSE is also shed points. So the impact of markets from different across the world, that has on every other country. There is a strike in Maruti, and supplies to a number of countries are impacted. So anything happening in one part of the world is impacting the other part of the world. Financial systems, there was a time we were looking at our own Indian standards. And then we used to also do US GAAP. Now it's no more that you can also do. IFRS is coming in, and IFRS is making the world having same financial system. If you look at our own Indian accounting standards which are being rewritten, they're actually on lines of one simple financial standard which is going to be across the world. Technology usage, I'm sure everyone is aware. So what is it? This is what is globality. And what has happened? That the globe which was round earlier, the globe has become flat. Business flows in all directions now. Earlier it was that business used to flow from developed countries to developing countries, or developing countries to developed countries. Now business flows in all directions because it's flat. Companies do not have any centers now because it can be anywhere in the world but it may be operating in anywhere in the world. So it is no more that one center determines. Like we used to have earlier, organizations, large MNCs, and we used to look for the headquarter in X country. No more. Because one doesn't know where is the center. There are a number of Indian companies which are present all across the world. You don't know where is the center, where is the center. And as I was mentioning, there is nothing which is foreign. And everything is available to everyone, including talent. So one big paradigm change, which is the globe is no more round, globe is flat now. Come to the business environment. And I think, let me share with you one of the examples which, not examples, one of the incidents which was shared by one of our seniors and professional management guru, Dr. Preetham Singh, in one of the gatherings. He mentioned that way back in 1960s when he was in the US, at that point of time he used to have a big car, and driving on the roads in the US was a pleasure. Because miles and miles of roads without anyone on the traffic, or on the road. So you drive and you feel absolutely powerful because it was a big, powerful car. Say example, you have a big BMW 7 Series. You are driving it on a road which is excellent, no one on the road, so you drive at 200, 240 kilometers per hour. And you feel good. And he mentioned that just imagine some time back, I was going in a large Honda Accord and stopped on a red light at Chandni Chowk. When I stopped at the red light, a number of scooters and autos and small cars, they all came just next to me and everyone honking there. And that's what the business noise is all about today. Because everyone, every business, everywhere, small, big, anyone can honk, anyone can make a noise. And then the light turned green. And here is that Maruti 800 that moves fast, dents my car, and runs away. I'm trying to chase, but I can't because I don't have space. Because the road is blocked. And no matter how big a car it is, no matter how powerful it is, no matter what is the intrinsic, value of this car, I just can't handle that small little Maruti 800. And that's the change in paradigm. We used to hear earlier that big fish swallows small. But who knew that Ellen Mitchell will devour Arcelor? Who knew that a number of companies across the world will be taken over, devoured by Bharat Forge? So the paradigm which has changed is now small can swallow big. And it's a big change. It's a paradigm change. So now, earlier organizations used to look at the careful of the competitors who were larger than them. Today, you can't afford to do that. Today, anyone, no matter how small, be it Maruti 800, it can dent and go away. And you can't do anything about it. You can be swallowed by anyone. So that's another change which is happening in the business environment. Look at the demographic level. We all know that with time what happens? With time, you age. With time, you grow older. But here is another paradigm change which is happening because by 2030, if you know, in India we are going to add another 240 million young working population, which is going to make India younger and younger. Paradigm change. With time, you become younger. Organizations have to look at it, how do you work with population which is younger tomorrow than today, rather than older tomorrow than today. A big paradigm change. And we need to look at that what is it which is required for the organization of tomorrow, where you will be working with a large number of younger population than you are used to today. Paradigm change. So I think that's at the demographic level. Now at the level of organization, what's happening? I think earlier we used to think that we need to grow vertically, and for that you do more of what you're doing today. You acquire a company in the same space to become bigger and larger. So it used to be vertical integration, and we were looking at vertical integration for growth. But paradigms have changed. Now it is no more vertical integration. You do not have to grow in the same space as you are, but it is virtual integration. Airtel is a very good example of that. You don't have to do more of what you're doing, but would rather outsource what somebody is capable of. And through that you grow. So in your own space, it's not that the vertical growth is happening by adding what you have, but it's a virtual growth which is happening. Virtual growth, different paradigm. Because you work with equals. And not only you grow yourself, but you're growing others at your cost at times. So it's a living or coexistence of equals which is going to happen now. And that's what one is looking at. And India's IT or ITES space has grown principally on this basis, where people are looking at outsourcing to somebody who can do better and then collaborate to grow the organization. Now, while this is going to happen on one hand, let's not forget the example of Bharati 800. You may grow large, yet you have to have the characteristics of a small family. Elephant has to learn to dance on one foot, which is that the characteristics of organizations have to remain that of small, that is nimble, agile, fast, responsive, and lean. Because that's what you need to be in order to exist for. At the product level, so I'm just coming down from globe to the product level. At the product level, something which was very common sense. If you're selling well, you sell well on the basis of cost, quality, service, delivery. Fine. What do you do if you're doing well? If demand is high and supply is low, what do? You increase, produce more and more and more because there's a lot of space. You produce based on the consumption pattern. Produce and market it. Once you are established, you start looking at high price clients, where you get more money for smaller delivery, because application or processing is something that you're taking for. Now from there, look at the product out paradigm. Now the paradigm has changed, that it is going to be market in. Now what the market demands today is more in terms of products that cater to the putative identity of customers. What's putative identity? Putative identity is something that one looks to become. You have motorcycles not because of the intrinsic characteristics of value that a motorcycle is, which is in terms of your speed and fuel efficiencies and ease of driving, but you're looking for the macho look. The customer is looking for macho look in the SUV segment. The cars suddenly become different in terms of their sales because you're looking at the macho look. So it is look that is important. And products which say, look slim by doing this or using this. Look petite by use of this cream. It's look, which is the putative identity that the customer is looking at. So there is a change here. And two, and what Mr. Ramni also mentioned, and our late Dr. Prahlad, he had mentioned that the fortune is at the bottom of the pyramid. And I think that has given a good indication saying that it is not the top-end customer that you're looking at. Look at something which is available at the bottom, which is in millions, and hence move to sachet strategy. It is small and many. So it is a change in dimension of commitment from time to value. And that's what youngsters are looking at today. We were having a conference of youngsters. We keep organizing these conferences in our national HRD network. And in youngsters conference, we asked some of the youngsters as to what is it that we're looking at. And it came out, they said that we're looking for 100% commitment to task, but 0% commitment to your organization. Say that if the task is good, if there is a challenge in that, I'm ready to be there irrespective of what the organization is. The moment that challenge is over, organization is a place where I get that challenge. So a key change in the paradigm is that rather than time frame, let's look at the value frame for commitment of people. So script of engagement changes from emotional platform to a contractual platform now. So that's another paradigm change that's what we're looking at. So with these changes, I think a lot of things that we have been doing in a particular way so far, they need to be changed. And that change is what I say is the transformation. And sooner we understand this, the better it is. And hence, for HR folks, it is absolutely essential that what goes on in design, people have started looking and sun has started rising up the east. And everyone is looking forward to what India is doing today. So I think that's what we do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your thought-provoking talk. Now I would like to request our Vice Chairman, Mr. Pankaj Agarwal, to give a figurine of Sri Baki Bihari Ji, a token of love, affection and respect to all the dignitaries. Let's begin with Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Suresh Tripathi. Please put your hands together. Next is our guest of honor, Dr. Asif Mahapatra. Can we have a round of applause, please? Next is our keynote speaker, Mr. R.Nayak. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to call our Director GLP ITM, Dr. Rajiv Agarwal, to come on the dais and propose a vote of thanks. Dr. Agarwal is commonly known as educational activist for his performance in delivering technical education. He is an author.
Thank you, Mr. Nayak, Dr. Mukul Gupta, Professor Manoj, guests sitting on the dais. It's my really privilege to propose a vote of thanks to such an audience as well as such a guest. I start with our keynote speaker, Mr. R.Nayak. He has given the key words as potential and performance, with motivation is to be included. And along with this, he has set a path which includes the history, which address issues with history, present and future issues in terms of managers. So he has rightly established a path. Then I would like to thank Mr. Asit Mohapatra, which is a guest of honor. He has prepared his optimized slides for better understanding of the viewers, and he has blended his experience and case study along with their slides. I really thank guest of honor Mr. Asit Mohapatra for his beautiful slides. Then coming to the chief guest, Mr. Suresh Tripathi, he has given a word as flat, and generally in case of information technology, we say now the word is not round, it is also flat. Now in terms of manager, now it is also true, the word is flat. Now the opportunities and talents are again flat. And we are talking in terms of value of dimensions, which he has elaborated in this speech. Now I would like to also extend my sincere thanks to the audience and other guests, without which this summit has no meaning. Dr. Mukul Gupta, Professor Manoj and his whole team and his students for organizing such a summit with vibrant theme. This event is well organized and cared. I hope this will be a memorable event for you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Now herein we will be taking a tea break of 10 minutes. Sorry, my sincere apologies to cut it short. But we'll be joining back the first technical session on Indian corporate retail and vegan talent growth in economic slowdown. Please come and join us on a tea. Thanks.
For us, you don't need anybody. That's why I'm here, and if I'm learning from the leaders is the best way. No, but we really appreciate it.
There is a model for
Absolutely.
the model is very different for IT.
Vegan talent pool in economic slowdown. It is increasingly clear that the issues underpinning successful technology in about embracing new ways of doing things, new work practices, new skills, new channels of communication, financial structures. It means that we must be flexible in how needs are identified and to be revisit our priorities, dropping those that no longer require attention in order to be able to respond to new problems. Since morning, we had gone through 3 presentations on the same line. To know more about it, to discuss on this particular topic, I call session chair, Mr. R.Nayak, as HRD, Head Training and Talent Management at R.Nayak of India. Just to give you a brief profile of R.Nayak, 15 years of senior management position experience in areas of diverse as people and leadership development, large-scale organization transformation initiatives involving people, process, procedures, and structure. As far as academic is concerned, Mr. Patnaik holds Masters in Personal Management and Industry Relations from He is also Masters in Marketing Management in Banking Vision. In this most recent publication, this is the latest issue of October-December 20th of India Vikas of India, Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. A research paper that Vikas in an international Ms. Vasudhara Srivastava. She is a graduate Economics Honours from Lady Shri Ram College, MA in Economics from Delhi School of Economics. She worked with GE Money for 9 years in credit and branch operations role. After that, moved to Sir, this will be a over to the session chair. Thank you.
Where great veterans like Mr. R.Nayak, Mr. Tripathi, Mr. Mahapatra has already spoken. Their most expected me initially to come and he gave me one set of topics. And quickly thing that I called back what I expected out of me in this. So then he can speak on anything. I was wondering as to what exactly. Slow down will link is very challenging. And the issue was the global economic slowdown and the impact of an employee mindset. But let me try and what will my ideas and show my ideas as to how it will be. So I'm touching those issues which are already in public on economic recession. These are party economic times. I want so that I try to touch some which can lead here. How societies can be driven by value. How the economy has been. Here, right or wrong, right, and in the when we if you look at must have gone escape love the biggest of market, you don't talk of market. They talk of power, of global power. So that is the magnitude of the so when they go for themselves, it is environment follow. This has fact history was 1490 the dread no by they should back the shape in price and the national is not very normal. You that's how so the third point to they are very in India we have recently where the government like Bihar and Orissa, Delhi and Gujarat have been to the past. In the last we've been factor and is all by elected reason that the current senator is so powerful. He knows the need of their needs, their will, and that shapes our behavior. Together, the think of first marriage. So you know the entire 2000 the foundation of the first now the house provide and not very came to mind decided third reason for that stuck to even by the UPA government. And it says maximum amount of government can go beyond 5% of the GDP. Now you compare this with the European economy. Public borrowing is to the of 90, 95 to 100% of the GDP. Here it is 5% is the maximum cap. At this moment, in the current size, what is being deliberated 5.6%, which has down to 5.56% of GDP. And things are going on. So, it's sure in our mind that India is never going to either US kind of or Europe. YP Reddy has given interviews that US economy 5 to 6 years. That means there would be struggle, it's all interlinked. It will be a struggle in 2016 and 17. Then all the European banks and they have governments, they are on publishing a lot of currency. Now, the extent of this is guess, but then Pranab Commission, Planning Commission, and he estimates this as now 5 trillion.